Before you take your next bite of leftovers, pause for just a moment. What if I told you that one simple habit happening quietly in millions of kitchens could be increasing the risk of one of the deadliest cancers, pancreatic cancer, without any warning signs at all? Many seniors believe reheating food is harmless, even smart. But doctors are now sounding alarms about certain foods that change in dangerous ways when reheated. If you or someone you love eats leftovers often, this may be the most important video you watch today. Welcome to SeniorWise Wellness, where we protect health with truth, not fear. Please share this video with seniors, parents, grandparents, and family members, because this information could save a life. Cooking once and eating twice feels practical, economical, and safe. For decades, we've been told that reheating food is no big deal. Just warm it up, don't waste it, and move on. But modern medical research has revealed something unsettling. Certain foods, when cooled and reheated, don't stay the same on a chemical level. There are structure changes. New compounds can form, and some of these compounds are now being studied for their link to chronic inflammation, insulin disruption, and damage to pancreatic cells. The pancreas is a small organ, but it plays a massive role in survival. It controls blood sugar, digestion, and metabolic balance. Pancreatic cancer is especially dangerous because it rarely causes symptoms early. By the time it's detected, it's often advanced. That's why prevention matters more here than almost anywhere else in the body. Doctors are now paying close attention to everyday habits that stress the pancreas over time, and reheated foods are high on that list. This doesn't mean all leftovers are evil. It means some foods behave very differently after reheating, especially when they are cooked, cooled, stored, and reheated improperly. Seniors are particularly vulnerable because digestion slows with age, insulin sensitivity changes, and the body becomes less efficient at detoxifying harmful compounds. What a younger body might handle without immediate consequences can quietly cause damage in an older body over years. One of the biggest dangers comes from repeated reheating. Many people reheat the same dish multiple times, a little today, a little tomorrow. Each reheating cycle increases oxidation, especially in foods high in fats or certain carbohydrates. Oxidation creates unstable molecules called free radicals. These molecules damage cells, including pancreatic cells, and promote inflammation, a key factor in cancer development. Doctors have also raised concerns about how reheated foods affect blood sugar spikes. The pancreas must work harder every time blood sugar rises sharply. Some reheated foods cause stronger glucose responses than when they were freshly cooked. Over time, this constant stress can weaken pancreatic function, increasing the risk of diabetes and potentially pancreatic disease. Another overlooked factor is storage. Food left at room temperature too long before refrigeration allows bacteria to grow. When reheated, these bacteria may die, but the toxins they produced often survive heat. These toxins don't always cause food poisoning symptoms. Instead, they quietly irritate the digestive system and pancreas over time. You might be thinking, I've eaten leftovers my whole life, and I'm fine, and that's a common response. But cancer doesn't form overnight. It develops silently over years, even decades. Doctors aren't saying reheated food causes pancreatic cancer instantly. They're saying certain reheated foods, eaten frequently, may increase long-term risk, especially after age 50, 60, and beyond. What makes this even more concerning is that the foods doctors are warning about are some of the most commonly reheated foods in senior households. Foods we think of as comforting, filling, and safe. Foods we prepare in large batches because standing in the kitchen every day is tiring. Foods that feel like good choices, but may not be once reheated. In the next part, we'll begin looking closely at the first food doctors warn about why it changes when reheated, what happens inside the body afterward, and why the pancreas may be forced to pay the price. Some of this may surprise you, because it's a food most people believe is completely harmless, and it often sits quietly in the refrigerator, waiting to be warmed up again. One of the first foods doctors are now warning seniors about is reheated rice. Rice seems innocent. It's soft, easy to digest, affordable, and eaten all over the world. Many seniors rely on it because it doesn't upset the stomach like spicy or fried foods. But when rice is cooked, cooled, and then reheated, something important changes. The starch structure begins to shift, and if the rice wasn't cooled quickly, or stored properly, bacteria can grow. Even more concerning is that reheated rice can produce compounds that raise blood sugar much faster than freshly cooked rice. Every time blood sugar spikes, the pancreas has to release insulin. Over time, repeated sharp spikes force the pancreas to work harder and harder. Doctors now believe that chronic pancreatic stress is one of the silent contributors to pancreatic cell damage. In seniors, this effect is stronger because insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age. What once caused a mild response now causes a surge. That surge, repeated daily, is not harmless. There's also the issue of reheating rice more than once. Many people reheat a portion, put the rest back in the fridge, and repeat the process the next day. Each reheating increases oxidation. Oxidative stress damages DNA inside cells. Damaged DNA is one of the first steps toward cancer formation. This doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, without pain. Another food doctors are increasingly cautious about is reheated cooking oils, especially oils used in frying. When oils are heated once, they already begin to break down. When cooled and reheated again, especially at high temperatures, they form toxic byproducts such as aldehydes. These substances are known to be inflammatory and harmful to internal organs, including the pancreas. Many seniors reuse oil to save money. Frying once, storing the oil, then frying again later feels practical. But medical experts now warn that reheated oils may be far more dangerous than we once believed. These damaged fats can interfere with how the pancreas regulates digestion and blood sugar. Over time, chronic inflammation caused by these compounds may increase cancer risk. Doctors also point to reheated processed meats as a growing concern. Foods like sausages, deli meats, and leftover grilled meats contain preservatives and nitrates. When reheated, these chemicals can transform into nitrosamines, compounds strongly linked to cancer in scientific studies. The pancreas is particularly sensitive to these compounds because they enter the digestive system directly and require pancreatic enzymes to process them. For seniors, digestion slows. That means these harmful compounds stay in the body longer, increasing exposure time. Eating reheated processed meats once in a while may not seem serious, but frequent exposure over years can quietly increase risk. This is why doctors often recommend limiting processed meats entirely, especially when reheating is involved. Another common food that raises red flags is reheated potatoes. Potatoes are healthy when freshly cooked. They contain fiber, potassium, and energy. But when cooked potatoes are cooled and reheated, especially fried potatoes like fries or hash browns, they can form acrylamide. Acrylamide is a chemical that forms when starchy foods are cooked at high temperatures, and reheating increases its concentration. Acrylamide has been linked to cancer in animal studies and is considered a probable human carcinogen. While the body can detoxify small amounts, aging reduces detox efficiency. This puts seniors at higher risk from repeated exposure. Doctors aren't saying never eat potatoes. They're saying avoid reheating them, especially after frying. Food on the warning list is reheated soups and stews made with animal fats. These meals are staples in many senior homes. They're comforting, soft, and easy to swallow. But when soups containing meat, bones, and fats are reheated multiple times, fat oxidation increases. Oxidized fats promote inflammation throughout the digestive system, including the pancreas. Repeated reheating also concentrates sodium and changes protein structures, making them harder to digest. The pancreas must release more enzymes to break them down. Over time, this constant demand can strain pancreatic tissue. Doctors emphasize that the danger isn't fear, it's frequency. Eating freshly cooked food most of the time gives the pancreas a break. Constantly eating reheated food never allows recovery. The pancreas is forced to work without rest, day after day. The good news is that small changes can dramatically reduce risk. Cooking smaller portions, reheating only once, storing food properly, and choosing foods that tolerate reheating better can protect pancreatic. See health. Fresh meals don't have to be complicated. Simple, freshly prepared foods are often the safest. In the next part, we'll talk about what doctors recommend instead, how seniors can enjoy convenience without putting the pancreas under constant stress, and which foods are safest to reheat if needed. And this is where doctors want to shift the conversation from fear to control. The goal is not to scare seniors away from eating, but to help them understand how to protect the pancreas while still living comfortably. Doctors agree that the pancreas is resilient when treated gently and consistently. Small daily decisions matter far more than extreme changes. One of the first recommendations doctors make is limiting how often reheated foods are eaten, not eliminating them completely. Freshly cooked food, even if it's very simple, gives the pancreas a chance to rest and reset. For seniors, this can mean preparing smaller portions instead of large batches meant to last several days. A simple bowl of freshly cooked vegetables, a small serving of freshly prepared protein, or a light soup made and eaten the same day places far less stress on digestion. Many doctors say that freshness matters more than complexity. A basic meal cooked today is healthier for the pancreas than a rich meal reheated multiple times. Storage habits also make a major difference. Doctors emphasize cooling food quickly before refrigeration. Leaving food on the counter for too long allows bacteria to multiply. Even if reheating kills the bacteria later, the toxins they leave behind remain. These toxins irritate the digestive system and quietly burden the pancreas. Seniors should aim to refrigerate leftovers within 1 to 2 hours in shallow containers so they cool evenly. Another key recommendation is reheating food only once. This is one of the simplest yet most powerful protective habits. Reheating multiple times increases oxidation and chemical changes in food. Doctors suggest reheating only the portion you plan to eat and leaving the rest untouched. If food has already been reheated once, it's safer to discard leftovers rather than reheat again. Doctors also advise choosing foods that are more stable when reheated. Steamed vegetables without added fats, plain lentils, beans, and some grains tolerate reheating better than oily, fried, or processed foods. Adding fresh ingredients after reheating, like fresh herbs, olive oil, or lemon, can reduce oxidative stress and improve digestion. Plays an often overlooked role in pancreatic health. When the body is dehydrated, digestive enzymes become more concentrated, increasing irritation to pancreatic tissue. Seniors often drink less water than they need, especially in cooler months. Doctors recommend regular hydration throughout the day to support enzyme balance and reduce pancreatic strain. Another protective factor is mindful eating. Eating slowly, chewing thoroughly, and avoiding very large meals helps the pancreas release enzymes in a controlled way. Large, heavy meals, especially reheated ones, force the pancreas to work suddenly and intensely. Over time, this repeated stress adds up. Doctors also warn about reheating food in certain containers. Plastic containers, especially older ones, can release chemicals when heated. These chemicals may interfere with hormonal balance and add to the toxic load processed by the pancreas. Glass or ceramic containers are considered much safer for reheating, particularly for seniors. It's also important to understand that pancreatic cancer risk is influenced by multiple factors. Smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, unmanaged diabetes, obesity, and chronic inflammation all play roles. Reheated foods are not the sole cause, but they can act as a silent contributor when combined with these risks. That's why doctors focus on reducing cumulative stress rather than blaming one habit alone. Many seniors feel overwhelmed by health warnings. Doctors understand this and emphasize balance. Enjoying food is part of quality of life. The goal is awareness, not anxiety. Making even 2 or 3 small changes, like reheating less often, choosing safer foods, and improving storage, can significantly reduce long-term risk. Doctors also encourage seniors to listen to their bodies. Frequent bloating, indigestion, unexplained fatigue after meals, or sudden blood sugar fluctuations may be signs that the pancreas is under strain. These symptoms don't mean cancer, but they are signals that digestion needs support. Regular checkups, blood sugar monitoring, and discussing digestive changes with a doctor are essential, especially after age 60. Early detection of pancreatic stress can prevent serious disease later. Perhaps the most empowering message doctors share is this: the pancreas responds positively to care. It can recover when stress is reduced. Every fresh meal, every skipped reheating, every mindful bite is a step toward protection. In the next part, we'll look at practical daily meal strategies for seniors. How to plan meals that are easy, affordable, pancreas-friendly, and realistic for everyday life without feeling restricted. And this is where real life meets real solutions. Doctors know that seniors don't need complicated meal plans or expensive superfoods to protect pancreatic health. What matters most is consistency and simplicity. Many specialists recommend building meals around foods that are gentle on digestion and naturally reduce inflammation. Freshly cooked vegetables, lean proteins, and whole foods prepared in simple ways allow the pancreas to function without overload. A common concern among seniors is fatigue. Cooking every day can feel exhausting. Doctors suggest a middle ground, preparing ingredients in advance rather than full meals. Washing, chopping, and storing vegetables raw keeps them stable and safe. Cooking them fresh each day takes only minutes and avoids the risks linked to reheating fully cooked meals. Protein choices also matter. Freshly cooked eggs, fish, and legumes are easier on the pancreas than reheated red or processed meats. Doctors often advise seniors to reduce reliance on sausages, cured meats, and leftover fried foods. These items not only stress the pancreas when reheated, but also contribute to systemic inflammation. Another helpful strategy is using cooking methods that preserve food integrity. Steaming, boiling, and light sautéing at low heat produce fewer harmful compounds than frying or grilling. When food is cooked gently, there's less chemical change to worsen during reheating. This means that if reheating is necessary, the damage is minimized. Doctors also encourage portion awareness. Smaller meals reduce pancreatic workload. Eating 5 smaller meals instead of 2 heavy ones helps stabilize blood sugar and digestive enzyme release. This is especially important for seniors with prediabetes or diabetes, where pancreatic function is already compromised. Spices and herbs can also support pancreatic health. Turmeric, ginger, garlic, and cinnamon have been studied for their anti-inflammatory properties. Adding them fresh after cooking rather than reheating them repeatedly helps preserve their benefits. These small additions can support digestion without stressing the pancreas. Sleep and stress play roles that many people overlook. Chronic stress affects hormone balance and blood sugar regulation, forcing the pancreas to compensate. Poor sleep increases insulin resistance, again burdening pancreatic function. Doctors often remind seniors that protecting the pancreas isn't only about food, it's about the whole lifestyle. Physical movement, even gentle walking after meals, helps regulate blood sugar and reduces the pancreas workload. A short walk after eating can significantly lower glucose spikes, giving the pancreas relief. Doctors consistently recommend light daily activity as a protective habit. There's also growing interest among doctors in gut health and its connection to pancreatic function. A healthy gut microbiome reduces inflammation and supports digestion. Fresh foods rich in fiber, such as vegetables, beans, and oats, feed beneficial bacteria. Reheated processed foods do the opposite, promoting imbalance.